Hello, so creative, it's Faustina here. Welcome to today's tutorial. On today's tutorial we are going to learn how to draft our plungy v-neck transparent corset. So I've gone ahead to mark out all my vertical lines. These are all my vertical lines. So I marked from my shoulder to my chest line, which is also known as armhole line, and from my shoulder to my bust point, and from my shoulder to my under bust, from my shoulder to my waist, and from my waist I came down by 5 inch, which is my top length, and from my waist I came down by 8 inches, which is my hip length. So how do you get your armhole depth? You divide your bust by 6 and you plus 1.5 inches, and you plus another 1 inch for your shoulder slope allowance. So from my shoulder I came down by 1.5 for my shoulder slope for the front, and at my neck depth I came down by 3 inches, which is our basic neck depth, which we are going to alter after drafting our pattern. So I've gone ahead to input my nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement is 3.5 all over our vertical lines. As you can see, I'm trying to join the lines together. After joining the lines together, at the under bust, we are now going to put our under bust dart tightening. So at the center front I came out by 1/2 inch, and at the side I came in by 1 inch, which in total our dart is 1.5 inches. And I also went ahead to add that 1.5 inch dart all over our pattern. Like I added that 1 inch dart at our waist, at our top length, and also on our hip line. So I'm trying to join the lines together. After joining the lines together, I'm going to use my pattern curve to curve out our bust shape like so. Also note how I'm placing my pattern curve. So I'm not trying to give it a slight curve, not that deep curve, just slight curve. After giving it a slight curve, from my shoulder I'm now coming down by 6.5 for my over bust measurement. You can as well come up by 2 inch from your chest line, or you from your shoulder you come down by 6.5 or 7, depending on how you want your bust cleavage to show. So I'm now going to rule out that line. After ruling out the line, I'm going to divide my shoulder into 2 to get that midpoint. After getting the midpoint, I'm going to join the point back to my nipple line. After joining it, I'm now going to open up the overbust dart by 0.75 at both sides, and I'm now going to now mark it back to my bust point like so. After marking it back to my bust point, we are now going to work on our plunging neckline area. So I wanted my plunging neckline to start at my under bust, like 1/2 inch under my under bust. Your plunging neckline can start anywhere. It can start at your bust point, at your under bust, at your waist, depending on what your client wants. But mine, I want it to start 1/2 inch under my under bust. So at my bust point I came out by 1/2 inch. When I open it up, I'm going to have like 1 inch. So I mark it straight to that place that my under plunging neckline is starting. So I'm trying to give it a slight curve back to my over bust dart leg, like so, as you can see me doing. So I'm trying to curve it back to my over bust dart leg. I'm trying to give it a very slight curve. Make sure that you give it a very well slight curve, and we are going to curve it through back to your armhole side. So I'm trying to give it a very slight. So from my chest line, I'm now going up by 3 inches. Let's work on our armhole curve, and I went in by 0.75, and I'm now going to form a straight line back to the shoulder tip of my armhole. I'm going to repeat my bust measurements in order to complete my armhole curve, as so. I'm trying to complete that curve. After completing the curve, we are now going to start repeating all our horizontal measurements, which is also known as our body measurement. We are starting from the waist. Firstly, we are going to snatch our waist by 4 inches, meaning that we are going to minus 4 inches from our actual waist. My actual waist was 30, and minus 4 inches, it gave me 36. 36 divided by 4 gave me 6.5, plus the dart intake we added, which is 1.5. So I'm now going to mark it back to my bust point, and I'm just trying to recap it. My waist is 30. I snatch it by 4. Note that you can snatch your waist by anyhow you want it. You mustn't snatch it by 4. You can snatch by 2, by 3, and so on, depending on how comfortable you want it to be. And at our hipper line, we are going to divide our hip divide by 2, plus that 1.5 inch dart intake. Why did we add that hip side? In case you did not measure your client's upper hip circumference, this is the formula that you are going to use to get your upper hip circumference. So since my hip was 9.5 plus 1.5, after marking it, I went ahead to measure my top length, and it gave me 8.5. So let's do the calculation. My actual hip was 38 divided by 4, which is 10.5. While my top length, after measuring it, I got 8.4 times 4 gave me 34 inches, plus that my 1.5 that's intake. So that means that our upper hip circumference is 34 inches. So from our top length, we are coming up by 1.5 inch to give it a slight. By the side, we don't want to have any pointy area after sewing it, so you are just basically going to give it that curve by the side. So let's input our side bust. From our bust point, we came down by 2 inches. How do you get your side bust? Your side bust is the difference between your front waist and your back waist. Remember that our front waist and back waist is not the same. So my front waist is 17, while my back waist is 15. So the difference is just 2 inches. At our neck depth, we are going to alter it by coming in by 1 inch and going deep by 1 inch, like I have already did. That place I placed as steady, so we are not going to make use of it. Let's contour our over bust. We are just basically trying to contour it so that after matching the cup, we will not have the one that is longer than each other. So let's start marking our corset curve. From my bust point, I'm going to curve out one line to my dart leg, and from my chest part, I'm going to come in by 1.5. From that 1.5, I'm now going to curve in to my under bust dart leg. I'm just trying to number it 1 and 2. So we now go ahead and now cut out our yoke firstly, so that we will work on our bust side. I want that cup to have that 3 parts corset effect. You can and as well sew yours like this. Is very much optional. Our pattern is just ready, but I want to give it small design at the cup side. You can as well sew it like a 2 parts corset cup, but me I want 3 parts. I'm trying to cut out my pattern. We are going to slash the dart leg. Firstly, we are going to cut out our dart input. After cutting your dart input, you are going to cut out your overbust dart too, so that we can work on our side front, because we are going to close that our side bust. We are going to close it up like so. I'm trying to close it very well. After closing it, you are going to use your masking tape to tape it down like so. After taping it down, we are going to redraw that curve that we drew earlier. So we are going to redraw it to give it a very slight curve like so. After redrawing it, we are also going to complete that excesses that is left by the side. After completing it, we are now going to continue cutting our pattern. So our front pattern is ready, like I said earlier. So our pattern is very much ready. Since we are drafting dartless transparent corset, we are going to tape down our darts, like the center front and the side front. We are going to tape it, close up that dart by taping it down with our masking tape. We don't need any dart on the pattern, so we are basically going to tape it down. As I said earlier, the 3 part corset is very much optional. You can as well go ahead and start transferring the pattern on your fabric, but since I want to give it a little bit detailing, I'm just going to make use of the 3 part corset on our corset bust. So I'm now basically trying to close up our corset cup using our masking tape, so that I can mark out our 3 part corset cup. I'm trying to close it. I'm trying to close up the dart lines as if I'm sewing it. After closing it, you see how beautiful our cup is looking. Even without being sewed, it came out so fine and so perfect. You can as well try yours and see if you drafted well. You see how curvy our cup is, and also how deep our cup came out, even without being sewed or without being add any interfacing. It came out looking so nice. We are now going to forge ahead and start marking out our 3 part corset. At the center front, I came down by 2 inches, and at the side I also came down by 2 inches. So after marking it out, I will just join the 2 lines together. As simple as it looks, our 3 part corset is ready. That's just how to get your 3 part corset. It's very easy. After joining the lines together, you are going to cut it out. After cutting it out, you are going to also cut out the down parts like so. So our front pattern is very much ready. This is our yoke, our cup, and our body. Note that you are going to notch where your plunging neckline will start, and you're also going to notch it on your fabric. So let's work on our back pattern. From our shoulder, we come down by our chest line. From our shoulder we come down by our back waist, and from the waist we come down by 5 inches, which is our top length. Note that our back waist and front waist is not the same, so I'm just trying to mark out the dot line that we created, and we're going to impute our shoulder and our neckline, and also complete our armhole depth. So I slant my back shoulder by 1 inch, and I came down by 1 inch for my neck depth. So let's start working on our armhole side. I divided the lines into two. I came out by half an inch to complete my armhole depth. I'm imputing my bust measurements. I'm now trying to complete my armhole depth. After marking out your armhole depth, you are going to forge ahead and impute your waist measurement and your upper hip measurement. Since you have already gotten our upper hip measurement from our front pattern, we just impute it, divide the 34 into 2 and impute all the values. Note that we are not adding any dart on our back pattern because we are drafting dartless pattern. So I'm trying to impute my waist and also impute my top length circumference, which is our upper hip circumference. So I'm coming up by 1.5 inch to contour it back to my nipple point as we did on our front pattern. So from the chest line we are now going to come up by 2 inches to get our front and our back armhole matching. So at the center back of our back pattern, we are now going to come in by 1.5 inch to get that eyelet space. So when you now open it up, your back space will be 3 inches. So I'm trying to bring in my front pattern to check whether the back armhole is matching with the front armhole, and they are matching by that 2 inches. So from the 2 inches, I'm now going to slash it back to my chest line like so. From that armhole, I'm going to slash it back to my chest line like so. So we are now going to start marking out our plain pattern where our eyelet will start from. Remember, we are drafting transparent corset, so we have that plain point where our eyelet will start from, which I mark from my nipple to nipple measurement, which from the 1.5 we came inside from is basically 2 inches. So the space will be just 2 inches like so. So the space is just 2 inches, and that side back will be cut on our transparent mesh, while this place that I marked out as 2 inches will be cut on a plain pattern, is where our eyelets will sit. So our back pattern is almost ready. The yoke, I'm making use of all the yoke. This is the basic yoke design that we normally know, but no, I'm going to make use of all the back yoke design. Like I'm going to add button on my back yoke. So I'm not going to cut out that cuff area. I'm just showing you in case you don't want your button to line from the neck depth to where our yoke, back yoke stop. So I'm trying to cut out our back because our back is very much ready. So I'm now going to cut out that 1.5 that we impute. We are not going to make use of it. We are going to keep it aside, and now cut out that 2 inches that we are going to cut on our plain material. So I'm now just going to cut it, and our back yoke will be a full yoke. So our patterns are all ready. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe at this point, and also invite your friends to like and subscribe. So I'm trying to match the front and the back together to see if they correspond, and tara, they did. This is the work of the side bust. Despite the front waist and the back waist is not the same, but they are matching by the side. Thanks for watching once again, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. Your comments are the things that is giving me high hope or courage to keep doing this kind of video. Thanks, and remember